Why is everyone so annoying? Okay, so first of all, I want to ask: do people want to tell me why they think everybody is so annoying? Let's hear. Why do you think it? Well, I mean, first of all, is it true?
Everyone's so annoying.
What'd you say?
I personally don't find everyone.
You don't
so
find
annoying.
everyone so annoying? Oh, you're
Say,
good.
do people really, really feel that other people are so annoying? Like, I'm sure like people have good in them that they don't feel that every person is so annoying. I mean,
yeah, not all the time. Meaning, she's not saying that everyone's annoying all the time, but sometimes you just like walk out and like everyone around you. 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes.
So
5 minutes every hour.
no, I'll tell you. Like, sometimes you're having a hard day, and like everyone around you, or whatever, even relatives, kids, you feel
everything
like,
annoys you, and then it's you. Let's go take a nap. Yeah.
It's just so yucky. You know,
forget the diet. Yeah, that's more like
go have a cheesecake.
Go indulge.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but the question is that
why?
yeah, no, people who are so. It's funny because I had sent the email around, the announcement, why is everyone so annoying? And I got so many emails back from people saying, that is hysterical. I got to watch that class. Or someone did one of these, I'm not going to say it's a text thing that you laugh my bum off. Yes, LMBO. That's how we have it.
Laugh my Adam's apple off.
Yeah, there you go, whatever. I got like 4 of those back, just because it's like, it's true. Everybody's so annoying. So, the question is not, we can take a look at this, why is everyone so annoying, as an internal problem or an external problem. So let's start with the external. So here's the question. Is it true? I mean, it could be possible, and I would say maybe it is, that externally people really just have gotten more annoying. So I'm not sure because I didn't live 50 years ago or 100 years ago, but my understanding from those, ages is that, people, there was a gentility, maybe people were murderers or whatever, but, there was certain...
They would be very sweet and kind to you first. And then
right, exactly. But I mean, people open the door for people. Yeah. People like, we don't do that or we don't, whatever. There was a certain amount of social niceties. They didn't sit in I don't even remember, I remember sitting in doctor's office as a kid and to each other, hear that, on their cell phone, screaming off their life story. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to hear about your daughter's, boyfriend or whatever. It's like, whatever. There's no, and opening doors now, and then this is a whole women's issue. We will get into this later, is where a man doesn't know whether, like, if he opens the door for you, he wants to open the door because, wants to be nice or whatever, but he doesn't know if he's going to get his head chopped off. What? You don't think I can't open the door myself? Huh. Like that. So there's a whole bunch of the civility of the world may or may not have gone down. I don't know how people drove, before I was born, but I would imagine if someone was trying to get into the freeway, somebody let them in, and maybe not. Maybe they cut each other off just as much. So without trying to win that argument or lose that argument, it could be the reason everybody's so annoying is just because they are more annoying. So let's leave that aside because there's maybe nothing we can do about that unless any of my listeners want to go and make a whole world campaign of making people less annoying. I'll donate to that cause. 25 cents. Don't hold me up for it. Okay, so now let's look at the internal. The internal is, do we get more annoyed than people used to get? Meaning, right now, myself included, we all have the Amazon Prime mentality. Now. Yeah. Amazon Prime now. Yeah. In other words, we want it and we want it now. Everything should be instant. There's no delayed gratification. We don't have to have delayed gratification. Why should we? It can come now. And this is true for what we want to order and buy. It's true for on our phones. You ever get like a new computer and whatever, and then something is wrong, and you have to go check your old computer, and you can't even use it because you can't the windows don't open up fast enough, and the whatever on our phone or on a mobile thing. It's like, this app. We try an app, we download someone tells about an app. If we can't figure out how it works in like 30 seconds, forget about it. So with our mentality, is it true that maybe people are more annoying or not, but we ourselves have lost all ability to have patience? Yeah? Does anybody relate to that?
Definitely.
Okay. So the question is, have we forgotten one simple factor, which is that the way we're standing in line at the grocery store, okay, and the person in front of us is having a schmooze with a cashier. They're just sitting there chatting, how are you, what's new, whatever. Oh, I love your polish. And we're there. We have to be somebody. We're going to be late for somewhere. We have to, or we've got what's that called? Coins you put in a thing, a meter. We have, thank you. You've got to put coins in the meter or whatever, and you're just staying there, and you're like, hello, and you're so annoyed, okay? You're annoyed at the person in front of you because they're holding you up, the cashier's holding you up, and the other lines, of course, are whizzing through, and you're just standing behind this person. So the question is, are we forgetting that the way the current world is and the way the current world looks is exactly how God wants it to look at that moment. Now, did the cashier have choice? Yes. Did the person in front of us have choice? Yes. Did we have choice about letting our annoyance go through the roof? Yes. But in terms of the facts of what's going on in the world, we know from our sources that if you reach into your pocket and you get a quarter and you were looking for a dime, that was determined by God. Okay, that's a very well-sourced philosophy, and it's a gift in a way, because understanding that makes you, first of all, immediately your annoyance level goes down because it's you don't feel the victim of it. This is the way it's meant to be. So if this is the case, right? If this is the case, then what in that moment when you're being annoyed by this cashier and the lady in front of you, what are your choices? So let's quickly give our sources. Our sources is, Sefer Apayim says, thank you, Hashem, for giving me a relatively painless way of atoning for my sins. Okay, meaning a lot could happen. People suffer in a lot of different horrible ways. Easy way, little suffering, a lot of suffering, whatever. Here, you're suffering, but it's relatively painless compared to what other suffering there is. The Gemara tells us that the world exists in the merit of one who keeps quiet during an argument. So if people are, arguing with you and you're having a whole big thing with your husband or with somebody and you keep quiet, it says that, this is in Chulin, it says that the world exists in the merit of one who keeps quiet during an argument. And finally, there's a Gemara that says one who overlooks others' injustices toward him, Hashem will overlook his sin. So meaning, if someone is really annoying you and you overlook it, something you've done that was really bad or annoying, or something that you've done, God himself will overlook. So those are our sources. So here's the question for you. And if somebody's on the line, on the teleconference, hit *6, or on Facebook, you can type it below. What annoys you that you are trying to overcome? Either, best examples are with your husband, something that annoys you, or something in your life that annoys you. Is there anybody coming on the line? *6?
Not yet.
Not yet.
They're all very non-annoyed people.
They're very non-annoyed. They're very calm and tame. Okay. So here's the tool. So it's funny to me, when you said you don't go through. So how many people here go through life feeling like a lot of annoyance in their life during their day-to-day life? Okay, very little. How many people go through, sometimes they get annoyed. Most of the day they're kind of pleasant and everything, but a few times they get annoyed. It's pretty much most people, okay? Yeah. And how many people it'll be okay, don't get annoyed at all? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, for the people who get annoyed, is it one time a day? Is it 5 times a day? Does it depend on your mood? What makes you more annoyed or less annoyed?
Definitely, if I'm tired, it's worse for me, for sure.
Hungry.
Yeah.
Hungry.
If you're tired,
Then
it's
I'll just
worse.
eat, but tired, it's harder.
Feeling like powerless, if you have no control over certain situations in life that come up.
If you feel powerless or you have no control, you just get annoyed.
It's annoying, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's more, for you, it's more the logistics of the situation, or that's directed at a certain person or people?
No, it's more usually
just feeling annoyed at life in general. It didn't even occur to me that that's true. That's a really good point. I didn't even, in preparing this class, I didn't even think of. That's true. Annoyed at logistics. There's no real person there, but like, maybe it's, I was going to say DMV, saying the paperwork didn't get through and you sent the paperwork and whatever. So but then you'd be annoyed at the DMV. But just circumstances, you're saying, in general circumstances, is a very good point. So the question is, what tools, and I have tools here I'm going to teach today, what tool do we have that gets us over the hurdle of feeling annoyed? Okay, so first is, and then I'm going to tell you a hero story about a woman who I met who dealt with the most annoying situation ever, and prevailed. Okay. So here's the tool of the day. The tool of the day for dealing with annoyance when something's annoying you, either logistic, as she said, or a specific person in the moment, or an overall life circumstance or something. Here's the tool. Number one, when you start getting annoyed, to ask yourself, what is Hashem, what is God trying to teach me right now? What can I learn from this situation? So if you are sitting, the woman's in front of you and she's chatting with a cashier and you're just getting more and more aggravated, and you ask yourself, what can I learn out of this? Last week, I was sitting there and I was talking to my friend, and there were a whole bunch of people waiting to talk to her, and I just went on and on and on. I didn't realize how annoying it is for the people waiting in line. I'm going to try and improve my behavior. So basically, whatever's annoying you, think about, did I do that to somebody else? Okay? That's one tool to use when you're annoyed. Another thing is this, when we're saying people suffer in many ways, having to be patient when things aren't going my way is not as bad a suffering as other things that I could suffer. Fine. Three is identify at least one good thing that came out of the annoyance. So I'll give you an example. I was waiting in the line at the bank, and I also had to do returns. Okay, so I'm waiting in the line, and it's taking forever and forever and forever. And there's like 3 tellers, and 2 of them are tied up. Only one teller is seeing people come and go. The rest are just like tied up with these big long whatever. And I'm just getting more and more and more annoyed. And because of that, I had planned to go. I had an appointment. I had planned to go do one more errand and do a return, and then go to the appointment. And because the bank kept me so long, I couldn't go there. So I was even 10 times more annoyed until I got to my appointment and realized, and I was on time and it went fantastic, and I was only like 5 minutes early to my other appointment. If I had gone to do the other errand, which I was sure I would have had time for, I for sure would have been 15 or 20 minutes late to my next appointment, which I would have walked in feeling kind of, sometimes you're late, you're just like, why did I let that happen? So the fact that I was annoyed at the bank and didn't get my way at the bank and things didn't go the way I had scripted them to go, it actually worked out good for me. So when you're in the middle of an annoying situation, try and see what is the silver lining here. Remember a couple of weeks ago we did the silver lining? So what is the silver lining in this situation? Okay. The next tool is how can I accept what God is giving me in the moment? So strengthening that muscle of how can I accept what God is giving me in the moment, that is going to be the biggest hurdle of, instead of being frustrated, you'll be able to get on the other side of it. So let me just tell you a quick story. And I think we're actually going to finish up today. I'm really glad we got boom, boom, boom right through it. Well, probably because I thought because I got so many laugh my bum off, whatever. I got so many of those. I thought, everybody's like me, where everybody's annoying. Not really. I mean, I'm trying to be chilled, but okay. So here's a story of ultimate annoyance. Like, I don't know if I could think of a story that was more annoying than this. And this woman was amazing. So here's what happened. Many years ago, I believe it was Toronto, but I'm trying to disguise where she's from, but it was somewhere in Canada, I think. She had her husband was in law. She was a graphic designer, and her husband was in law school. And they had one baby, and they had They were very lucky. They got a 3-bedroom apartment, kind of like the price for 2-bedroom apartment. And so she had one room for her baby, one room for the husband and wife, and 1 bedroom for graphic design. Fine. So she's doing this graphic design. She's her job. Everything's going great. Her husband's in 2nd year law school. When he's about to start his 3rd year of law school. And she has a baby that summer before law school, whatever. So now she has 2 kids, and they're both in this middle bedroom. And she couldn't make the deadlines. And if you know anything about graphic design or people who work in you really have to make your deadlines. They've got to go to press. They've got the business cards. They've got the meeting. Whatever it is that you're doing in graphic design, you got to be on. You got to be on your game. And because she had the 2nd baby, she wasn't on her game. She lost a bunch of clients, and now they're really struggling financially. And they realized they're going to have to move out of the house, out of the 3-bedroom, and go to a 2-bedroom, which was really a bummer because this one had a backyard and her toddler could play while the other baby slept. Okay, fine. Get the situation? Mm-hmm. She gets this call completely out of the blue from somebody saying, listen, there's a new guy in town who is he wants to rent a room in somebody's house. He'll pay $1,000 a month for room and board. She's thinking, wow, that's unbelievable. Not only would that mean that we can, we get to keep the place. We could move, I can just move all the graphic design stuff into our bedroom. Not ideal, but it's only for a year. But we can keep this place because when they started looking for 2 bedrooms, the 2 bedrooms were now almost as much as the 3rd bedroom, and they didn't have the backyard. So she is thrilled. So they're happy. They let this guy move into their house. Fine. This is where the annoyance starts. Okay. This guy, like when you buy, so it was room and board, right? So he can eat whatever he wants. So you know how you bring avocados home and one's okay and 4 are hard as rocks, okay? He always took the 1. You know when like 1 banana is ready and the other 7 are green? He always took the choicest fruits. On top of that, she had grown up and she had grown up very, careful with money. And so even if they weren't struggling financially, she would have been careful. This guy, when she really, really got hot, she turned the air conditioning on. This guy had it running 24/7 all the time. His air conditioning was blasting. He took long, hot showers, and their water bill was every kind of annoyance you could possibly imagine they had to put up with this guy in their house. Not only that, and plus with the yichud problems, with it being in the house, him not in the house, and she had to be, whatever. Thank goodness he worked the same hours as her husband, and it worked out pretty much okay, but it was very, very challenging. But here's the other thing. Before the guy had moved in, they had a lot of, there was a lot of tension because of money, because he was in law school and very stressed out, didn't give her the attention or time or whatever. Talk about not being there for her. Worse than a workaholic. So the 2nd year, they really, what is it? They work you to death, then they, whatever, Disney law school. First it's they work you to death. Then they keep you busy work for, no, first one is confuse you to death, then bore you, then... Nobody knows this. No, bore you to death is the 3rd year. Okay, so but whatever. But anyway, so he was in his 2nd year, which is really the hard year, I think. I don't know. I've never been to law school, but whatever. Write in if you're a Facebook and tell us tell us because we don't know. But anyway, so he was in his 2nd year, and so there was a lot of tension in the house, and they were at each other. So anyway, the 3rd year, so they had this guy. It was miserable. At the end of this year that this guy was there. Okay, he's finished up, and he comes to them, and he says, listen, I want to tell you something. He said, I've been living with you for a year. Have you ever looked at Canadian law? They're like, no. And this could be America. I'm disguising where it is, so everybody who does this should look into it. Well, it's illegal to have a person rent a room from you. It's illegal to be a landlord, and I want my $12,000 back. This is a true story. I want my $12,000 back. And if you don't pay me the $12,000, I'm going to take you to court. And you'll have to not only pay the $12,000, you'll also have to pay attorney's fees to defend you in court. And you'll have to pay the fine to the city for doing this. Yeah, really nice guy, huh? Can you imagine? I mean, it's so creepy living in their house for a year and doing this. I was beside myself. But here's what came out of this hero's mouth. She said, even though I wouldn't wish it on anybody and I wouldn't wish it on myself, and every moment was annoying, there's a bunch of stuff that came out of this. Number one, my husband and I had a lot of tension in the house before he came in. Now we had a common enemy. We really did. We had this common enemy. And we had a lot of conversations about the bananas and the avocados and the peach, that ripe peach that smells so fresh that's now gone. My husband would come home with one fresh peach. We'd put everything over here. We'd put one on the counter to watch if he came in and took it. And he did, we wink at each other. Maybe that's not the holiest, best way, but she said in a year that could have been the worst year of our life, we bonded over this. We got closer because of that. We realized it's not important. Secondly, we would have for sure moved to a 2-bedroom apartment. And now when the rents are much higher, we wouldn't have been able to afford this place. Even, he was a new lawyer just starting out. We wouldn't have been able to do it. Yes, we had to pay the $12,000. His parents and my parents were always, we always felt like they weren't there for us in many times of need. We've only been married like 3 or 4 years, I think it was. They both chipped in and paid this guy. We have to pay him back. We set up a payment system or whatever, but it just made us both feel like our folks are there for us or whatever. So many, many good things came out of this. So I'm telling this story because it's like the nth degree of being annoyed, and yet this woman is a hero, how she came out of that in seeing all of the things that she did, all of the things that happened to them, and she saw the good side of it.
We have actually a caller who either has a question or wants to make a comment.
Okay.
Maybe she wants to say something about this amazing story. Caller on the line, you're unmuted, so you can speak.
Thank you for calling.
Hi. So my question is, what if it's someone like closer to you? It's easy to be, bond when you have a common, enemy that's someone, let's say, not your relative. But what if it's someone annoying that's like in your circle of close family?
Ooh,
and let's say it's your spouse's,
question.
Just for example, it's your spouse's mother. Just for example.
Yeah, the famous mother-in-law.
MIL story. Okay.
What do you do? Like, what do you do about that?
Yeah, it's a fantastic question.
You don't want to bond over that because
leave her the poison peach.
Ouch! Ouch!
That did not come from the marriage.
So that's right. God forbid. Right. So that's an excellent question. So let me see. Boy, stump Leah today. That's a good question. So I actually don't necessarily think that their bonding against this woman was the greatest thing that happened from that, because it's really not. You're growing yourself to speak ill of somebody else. I don't know who this person was. He obviously wasn't a very nice person. So maybe you could ask a rabbi, and a rabbi would say it's fine to talk badly of somebody who's that mean, really, or evil. I don't know what you would call. I don't know. I'm not getting in there. But this guy was obvious. And the thing that's creeped me out, I said to her, it just feels like he planned that from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like he knew.
Yeah.
Like, how could you live for a year under somebody's roof knowing that that's what you're going to do to them?
What if, you feel like, let's say, your mother-in-law didn't like you from the beginning?
Your mother-in-law didn't like you from the beginning, she's saying, for those of you.
You just had that feeling, like you just got this sense that, she just really didn't like you. And so every interaction is like a little bit of a rub, a little bit of a friction, a little bit of a, cast that feeling of doubt, like, yeah, I could see she really doesn't accept me. She doesn't like me. She,
Right. Okay. So this is a little bit more deep than annoying. Okay. It's like, hello, that's a tough.
You don't want to talk to your husband about it, but you have to, it's just so delicate. It's just so difficult. And it's,
yeah. No, I hear that. So mother-in-law is a whole other topic, and that's a whole other topic. I mean, for that kind of a thing, it's very hard because the husband's immediately loyalties are thrown into question. He doesn't know how to behave. He doesn't know what to do. Should he be? Obviously we have our sources that say a man leaves his family and cleaves to his wife, and there's many, many sources that say that a husband needs to take care of his wife and not his mother in terms of his priority in life. So while that's true, it's very hard to get the husband to see that and to behave that way. And, that can be a lot of work in and of itself. It starts with the daughter-in-law sort of coming to terms with what are her boundaries? What are, first of all, if the mother-in-law lives in Israel or lives, in Switzerland or something, lives far away, and she just has to put up with it once every 2 years, she comes for a month, okay, that's different than if she lives down the street or something like that. So there's a whole big, topic here. But to answer the question as far as annoyance and how to handle that.
She could still use the tools you gave.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
for
all,
sure.
right? Meaning they all work.
The tools would work for that. But if it's something that intrinsic, like I don't feel like my mother-in-law ever loved me or ever approved of me or ever liked me, that is either it's in the daughter's head or it's true, or there needs to be more of a separation between the mother and the daughter-in-law in terms of, if going to her house every Sunday night causes friction, if that's what the case is, then maybe you go every other Sunday night. A woman has to know her own self-preservation. Doing it for her husband, doing it for the family, keeping everybody together, and so forth. These are very complex issues, and this is definitely something I would go to a rabbi with, or a rebbitzin, or a therapist, or somebody that can guide you through very complicated mother-in-law, daughter-in-law situations. But for the annoyance issue, you're addressing the whole issue of bonding over somebody else being annoying. And that I don't know is the best thing. I think that was a good outcome for this lady because that was a pretty tough hit, $12,000 hit, and also having somebody live under your roof and aggravating you for a year and then not having any monetary benefit out of it. That would be pretty tough. But
Yes.
She herself can also use the tools and tools of, what am I supposed to learn from this? She obviously used that because she used it. Well, we bonded, there was shalom in our house after that, from that. We got to keep the apartment. So she really did look at this good side of it. And maybe she grew herself. Maybe standing outside his door, hearing him blast the air conditioning when she herself was sweating and didn't want to blast the air conditioning. That teaches you something you can't learn in any other way. A level of patience, a level of self-deprivation, a level of, okay, I'm going to survive this, So who knows? But those tools...
Perseverance.
What'd you say? Perseverance, yeah.
Perseverance.
So she could learn perseverance. But the main issue, and to answer your question, it's a fantastic question, is for that issue, that's a lot more than annoyance. That's really deep emotional issues that need, and logistic issues that need to be worked out between the husband and the wife, maybe a trained, an outside third party who, can help with the situation. Getting it to the mother-in-law and talking to the mother-in-law saying, listen, I can only come every other Sunday because you're really mean to me. That's not really going to work. You have to figure out what's the best way to accomplish it. Okay. So,
Yeah.
But thank you very much for the question. It's a fantastic question. And hopefully some of the tools that we used here today for annoyance will help you in that situation. And best of luck to you. Thank you very much for calling. And we're at the end of our
Thank you,
time.
Leah.
This is the Ladies Talk Show with Leah Richeimer. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for our teleconference. We want more callers. We want more